Can you dig on Kyle Williams versus Jayden Higgins for Dynasty? Has more of immediate upside and who's better long term? This is a tough question. Kyle Williams is a guy that we kind of right before the draft started talking about. Um, we shared a little bit about that Washington State tape he had. Just a walking big play, man. Like he makes all sorts of plays down the field, finds a way to get open, and really scores a lot. So I like Kyle Williams. I know you like Kyle Williams, Coach. But let's just start off the basic principle. Kyle Williams or Jayden Higgins, year one, who would you rather have?
Whew. Well, I think Kyle Williams. For starters, Kyle Williams has a more open room. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is there, but Stephon Diggs is not Nico Collins, right? Nico Collins is a better receiver than Stephon Diggs, in my opinion. So there is opportunity for a little bit more opportunity for Kyle Williams, in my opinion. I do tend to think Jayden Higgins is a slightly better player, although I like Kyle Williams also. Long term, I would probably go Kyle Williams, mostly because I think Drake May long term is going to be a solid player. There's some concern for CJ Stroud in my eyes. But people don't want to say a whole lot about that. But CJ Stroud had took a major step back last year, and it does concern me a little bit. I'm not sure what he is quarterback wise. I do think he's probably still a 8 to 12, dynasty quarterback somewhere in there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But Drake May has potential to work his way up into a top 7 dynasty quarterback over time.
Yeah, May kind of has all the attributes you want. Like he's sneaky athletic and can run the ball a little bit like Daniel Jones, where you just don't expect it, but he's effective. Obviously we know he's got the arm talent to develop into that. It's just New England hasn't had any pass catchers. So I agree with you that Kyle Williams is probably the one to step into an immediate role. Obviously Diggs is there, but outside of that, Pop Douglas doesn't scare me. Polk doesn't scare me. Kayshon Boutte doesn't scare me. There's opportunity for him to immediately play. Whereas on the other side, Jayden Higgins, a guy we both like too out of Iowa State, he's a big frame X, not necessarily going to, make a ton of plays down the field, kind of limited in athleticism, but enough to get by. He steps into a role where he's immediately competing with Nico Collins, who is the clear-cut one of this offense. On top of that, they drafted his teammate, Jalen Noel, also out of Iowa State, for a slot role. And he's also a really dang good receiver too. They also brought in Christian Kirk. So there's lots of question marks to have. Then we also have that last year this team ran the ball. Obviously, they've got Joe Mixon. We get the news last week where they added Nick Chubb. So there's just some question marks to Jayden Higgins' ability to be an immediate player. Now, certainly there's been some OTA reports saying he's making some noise, has a real chance to be a big-time playmaker year one. I think it's possible, but I think he is just a little bit capped as it stands right now.
Yeah, and I do think Noel is a threat, really to take some shine there as well. I like, as we sit here and look at it and we think about it, I like Kyle Williams, although I'm not sure I had the guts to have taken Kyle Williams in the draft over Jayden Higgins, actually. So, which really bothers me a little bit now when I sit back and think about it.
Yeah, it's tough because when we first had drafts kicking off after the NFL draft completed, you and I were getting Kyle Williams in the 3rd, 4th round or off waivers. Mm-hmm. So that was really nice when people weren't paying attention. Now he's kind of floating in that late 2nd round. Jayden Higgins is kind of that middle 2nd round area. So both of these guys are similar. I mean, you can get Kyle Williams cheaper, which I do like. So if I'm sitting at the 207 and I say, oh, yeah, I'll slide back to the 210, just grab Kyle Williams and get a little small plus on it, maybe a 3rd round, maybe a future 3rd round pick. I'm all for that.
Yeah.